I'd like to apologize in advance for how long I'm probably about to take. I'm a senior at R.J. Reynolds High School, and I'll be attending Wake Forest University this fall. Which also means that my time swimming is coming to a close, which is crazy for me to think about because I swam for WSY and TYDE for the majority of my life. Even though throughout the 12 years that it's been, I've had and developed a very strong love-hate relationship with swimming. But that has really helped me appreciate the sport and the difficulty that comes with it. I've had so many unbelievable memories with so many unique people through this program, and I can't imagine my life without swimming. I'd first like to thank everyone that's been a part of this program as a whole, because everyone has had some effect on my swimming career, whether it be driving me home from a meet, cheering for me during a race, or driving your own child to practice so they can contribute to what this team is all about. Before I dive into how I got started swimming, I'd like to thank the people most responsible for where I am today. I'd like to thank my dad for all that he's done for me, giving me so many different opportunities, allowing me to swim year-round, play Little League Baseball, AAU basketball, club soccer, you name it. I just want to thank him for all of the hotel rooms he paid for swimming and inspiring me to be who I am today. I want to say thanks to my mom for everything she has provided for me. I don't know for a fact, but I would guess that most parents, their most highly anticipated event is when their child turns 16 years old and gets their license, because that means no more than being their personal chauffeur. But at the same time, it's one of the scariest moments in their life, because their 16-year-old who can't do their own laundry is now operating a motor vehicle. But for a parent of a swimmer, I think this moment is that much sweeter, because it means no more waking up at 5 a.m. And for every morning practice that I went to in high school, and all the ones I went to for my sophomore year with James, my mom woke up at 5 every morning just to see me, because I wouldn't see her again until around 8 p.m., and that meant more to me than she will ever know. I'd like to thank my sister, because without her, there's no way I would ever be where I am today, and I probably still wouldn't be sure about where I want to go to school this fall. My sister started swimming for WSY when I was about 6 and a half. And after about 6 months, I missed hanging out with her so much that I decided that I needed to start swimming. My sister is the reason why I am here, and she will never know how much I truly thank her, because she's the whole reason that I even kept swimming, I even pursued swimming, why I decided to work so hard. I also want to thank my coaches outside of WSY and TYDE, Suzanne Black, Julie Skinner, Kristen Omley, John Pitts, and Alex Black. When I first joined TYDE, it was because of Suzanne Black's convincing my sister to join. And I started with level 1 and Kiki, which was pure chaos. Kiki was really the first coach that got me excited about swimming fast. I started going to practice more, and I don't know, I tried to improve. Eventually, I moved up to Robin's group when I was 9, and my favorite memories from those days have to be the Friday relays, where pretty much all we did every Friday was relays. John, you could take a page out of her book. Unfortunately, I got faster and older, and I had to leave Robin's group when I was 13 to swim with the big kids. I moved into Mary's group. Mary loved to fuel her swimmers by trying to light a fire under them. And the thing I remember distinctly from Mary's group was the first goal meeting I had with her, in which she tried to convince me that I was a mile swimmer. And I just laughed. But the one thing Mary told me in that goal meeting, which I will never forget in the rest of my life, is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. She told me, whenever you race think of this. What lies behind you and what lies before you are tiny matters compared to what lies within you. And every single race I swam, I didn't think about the wall I just left or the wall I was going to. I thought about what I had left in me and how I was going to get to that wall faster than anyone else. The following year, I moved into Gold Group back with Robin. My best memories from this group were when I was actually playing basketball for Haynes. When I did go to practice during that 2-month span, I made it a point to swim on Morgan Tassik's speed to a point to death. And not once did I ever go before her. I would eventually move up to swimming senior with John. I first met John my first practice with Marion. When he walked in to coach the other group that was at Winston-Salem State, I was a 7th grader. And I was swimming in a lane with 4 junior girls, Ryan Probst, Jessica DeBoer, Taylor Moore, and Carly Sutter. Because apparently I was the next Alex Fox. So for the entire 2 hours, all I heard about was how cute this new coach was. Coach John. After swimming with John for a while, I moved back up to swim with Mary, and this time Scott Dunn had joined her. My all-time favorite memory of a practice included Scott, Mary, and Chris Healy. We were practicing at the Kernersville YMCA, and Mary made Chris sit out to talk for a second. The rest of the group proceeded to warm up, while Scott, Mary, and Chris talked. We did a short little preset and began the main set, in which Caitlin Cazazza, myself, and Sam Day were supposed to race a 200 fly. And then Caitlin would get out, rest 20 minutes, and do 100 breaststroke to prepare for Y-Nats. We were at the 175 when the lifeguards stopped us, but of course Caitlin kept going. It was storming really bad, so practice was ended, and we could all go home. Only Alex Fox, my sister, and myself could not, because Chris Healy continued to have his feet in the sky. It lasted for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We left the Y later than we normally would have. Unfortunately, Mary would part ways with the team after my freshman year, and Mike started coaching with Scott. I have a lot of interesting encounters with Mike, whether it be hitting countless curves in Maryland, running into him at the mall when going shopping for polos, getting lost going to TAC, which was only one exit away, writing a letter to the head of the YMCA. But my favorite memory was Mike's birthday gift to me, which he probably doesn't even know. He had scheduled a team meeting for my birthday 2.5 years ago. And after he finished talking, Grace Baird, Savannah Jackson, and Alex Marshall asked I don't know how many questions, which he had already answered. And by the time it was over, there were only 20 minutes left in practice, and we never got it. And then I started swimming with John and Scott, which takes us through short course Y-Nats 2014. I'd like to thank John for all of the memories that we have been through, and although we don't always see eye to eye in practice, John made practice so much more enjoyable because I could talk to him about virtually anything. And I really appreciate that, and I hope you continue to know that that was my favorite part of every single practice, just getting to talk to you. And I'd like to thank Scott for all that he did for this team. He made an unbelievable impact on my life, and I've never had a coach who has agreed with me on as many things as Scott did. But there are really only 3 words to sum up my relationship with Scott, and that's, Scotty, you stud. Take a moment to do something a little different. I first started swimming November 2002 for WSY. And in case you're wondering, here are some interesting facts about November 2002. Kelly Clarkson's first song after the first season of American Idol hit #1 on the charts. The movie 8 Mile starring Eminem was released. the Department of Homeland Security was created. President George W. Bush put the world on notice for terrorism. Michael Jackson dangled his son off a hotel balcony. And Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez announced their engagement. But I didn't remember any of those things because, well, I was only 7 and they weren't huge parts of my life. So what I did is I decided that I'd bring some visuals just to show you how long it's actually been. Can we get the first picture? The screen's blank. Hello?
I'm dying here.
Beverly? Can you hear me? Okay, well, I guess I'll keep talking until we get a picture up there. Well, so I'll come back to this part, but it's just a little bit of visual to show you just how long it's been. The last thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to take a moment to give a shout out and thank you to my teammates. First, I'd like to thank the influential teammates that are no longer here. Kyle and Kevin Cohen, Michael Meeble, Zach Coffey, Caitlin Kazaza, Peter Harrison, Genevieve Miller, Christian Jones, Erica Coffey, Colin Sullivan, Tommy Healy, Savannah Jackson, Katie Sales, Grace Baird, Alexandra Marshall, Chris Healy, and Alex Fox. Are those pictures coming along? Okay, we'll keep waiting on that. Leanne, although you joined the team, Mike, we'll talk to you. Although you joined the team only a few months ago, I cannot express enough pity for you. You had to room and experience the unbelievable strangeness that is Aaron Polish. And I could not even begin to give my condolences. Rachel McCrary, I wish that I could swim with you longer so that I could get caught up on all the freshman drama. But I know that you'll always keep working hard because you're a baller. Emily Polish has the most abundant amount of energy that I've ever seen in my life.
All right.
But in the future, my biggest goal for her is to never forget the definition of facetious. Sarah Jora, thank you so much for the Wake Forest shirt during Secret Sight. However, that did not influence my decision. Having to get a new bag is what did. Rachel Brown, no one can make their face convulse like you. But what I will miss most about practice with you is losing multiple times in the 50 freestyle. Looking at Allie Warnemont on a daily basis, I can never legitimately think to myself, this girl seems pretty sane. Megan, I will miss doing so much butterfly with you, but I know no matter what, you won't stop. I'm constantly amazed by how much you want to swim butterfly, even when you're dead. Morgan Tassett, I've probably annoyed you on more times than you can count. I know that I get on your every single last nerve, but that's just because I look at you as the younger sister I never had, and I'm so glad I got to swim with you for as long as I did. Big E, I know that your favorite thing to do is always answer the sports trivia questions I give you. So, from North Carolina, who will be a freshman swimmer at Kentucky in the fall? tell this story. We were in South Carolina my freshman year for a team trip. We were playing stand-up, sit down. Just to give you the rules. You're standing up, and then if a certain thing that the person who did says applies to you, you sit down. Chris Healy says, sit down if swimming is the only sport you participate in. And Richard Lang looks over and asks, does math count?
I love that story. He told me that day.
Because he went to Hay.
Lucas, although you take up the majority of our lane, it is class swimming with you. The only thing that could make it possibly better was if there was a biscuit king next to Winston. Matt Regan, how was the statistics exam? Matt is probably one of the most passionate swimmers I've ever swum with. And I can't wait for our last summer league season together as a part of the Forsyth Country Club Crazy Ducks. Will, words cannot describe how much I'll miss you. It's the end of an era now. Now that you have your license, I don't know what I'll do. I'll never forget giving you that first ride home from IHOP. I have greatly appreciated swimming with you, even when you kicked me in the face. But I have something for you. I need you to come up here.
Uh-oh.
This is for you. Got those water bottles at short course this year, and Will was the only person who broke his. So I went and got him another one, and he broke that one too. George, I've greatly enjoyed swimming with you over the years and playing Xbox. Like Morgan, I've always looked at you as the younger brother I never had. But you do inspire me daily. And something no one else knows is if it weren't for you and Matt Regan, I probably would have quit swimming before my sophomore year. But after you moved up into our group, I was inspired to not lose to the younger kids, so I started swimming more. I want to thank you for always having my back, and I know that you will do great things in the future. I first met Sam Day when we tied at a meet at GCY in 100 breaststroke, 140.70. Man, a lot has changed. I am so happy for you that you have the opportunity to do what you've always dreamed of, and I know that you will do great at Kentucky. But don't forget, you gotta shake them before you can bake them. Parker Outwell. Parker isn't that loud and doesn't talk that much. But when he does, you better listen because it's going to be funny. I first met Parker on the first day of school in 6th grade. At the time, he wasn't that interested in swimming. And the first practice environment I actually had with Parker was not at the TYDE. Parker and I ran track together, and I'll never forget how he always wore these WSY All-Stars t-shirts with the colored sleeves, and they'd run in the wind. And I'm so glad that you decided to focus more on swimming, and I can't wait to see what you do at George Washington. Oh, and there are 24 days left. That's only 15 if you count exemptions. If there are 3 things that I could leave here with, especially letting the swimmers know. First, nothing bad can happen from swimming a race. So don't put so much pressure on yourself before you swim. Second, never take life too seriously. One of the best things about swimming in the national group is I laugh every day because of how much fun we have and how weird my teammates are. And last, don't worry about your times. Don't get me wrong, swimming fast is great, but 15 years from now, you will be lucky to remember any of your times. So focus on making memories with your teammates that will last a lifetime, because that's what you'll remember. enjoy life. That's the best way to keep improving. Thanks so much.